them both. Very good. So I just had a cacao just now to prepare me for this little third and final finale of our little chat, a little celebratory launch of the 7-step hormone healing system that is officially launching and will be available as of the 1st of November. So I probably have chocolate all around my mouth. Just go with it. If it works, it works. But I'm pretty emotional tonight actually, which is interesting because I end my PMS window. I'm due to get my bleed in the next day or so, but it's good emotion. It's raw emotion. It's excitement about the fact that I'm about to launch this into the world, my baby, and it's the general anticipation of and I had a bit of a busy afternoon in the preparation and evening, getting the kids ready for dinner and all that sort of stuff, and then I was a bit rattled and it was busy and trying to take turns with the bathroom and the shower, and it was busy, and I felt myself get into a little bit of a sort of state. And so I thought, right, rather than having a wine tonight, I'm going to have cacao. And cacao ceremony is a beautiful ritual that I have incorporated into my life really only in the last year or so, and because it's such a beautiful sacred ritual to really again bring us back to that heart space. So I sat out on my deck in what I like to call one of my beautiful spaces, and I just sat and I just breathed and I just relaxed, and I came back in and I let all the drama and the bullshit go, and I just sat and I just was present, and I sat in gratitude. And the thing that really came to me, and it's been coming to me a lot lately, is very much about being really grateful that I am the conduit for these messages, for these lessons, this stuff that I'm teaching, because I really believe that it's not my stuff. It's bigger than me. This is, I guess, a bit of a spiritual look, but it's really, I feel like I download this stuff. I read books, obviously I've learned stuff through my uni degree and stuff, but I just feel like there's so much stuff that I know and I don't even know how I know. And it's like I meditate regularly and I'm constantly connecting with source and connecting with my truth and my womb wisdom, all of the things I'm going to teach you guys about in the 7-step hormone healing system. And the content just comes and it flows. And so I just feel really, I guess I want to say thank you to whatever for me being, the person that gets to share this stuff, the person that gets to teach you guys, the person that gets to be the face of Balanced Babes and the 7-step hormone healing system. So thank you again also for everyone who's followed me on this journey, everyone who's known me for, way back when I was a hot mess, in my 20s, partying like a rock star, 13 kilos heavier, skin was a mess, I didn't have eczema all over my body, I had acne, periods were a mess, then my periods stopped, I had adrenal fatigue, really was a shit show, and from the beginning, back in my late 20s. And it was perfect though, because it's got me to where I am now, and it was my body communicating with me, it was my body telling me that I had to change some things, it was my body telling me that I was living out of alignment, that I wasn't following my truth, that I wasn't stepping into my power, that I was, because I was stuck in so many limiting beliefs. I didn't really think that I was good enough to be a naturopath. I didn't think I was healthy enough to be a naturopath. I had all of the bullshit stories going that I'm sure a lot of you guys can identify with. And it's these limiting beliefs that really are the things that hold us back in life. They stop us from basically having everything that it is that we desire. And so over the last, how old am I now? 37? Over the last 10 years, I guess I really have dived into a lot of personal development work. I've done so many different courses and trainings, from EFT to NLP, kinesiology courses. I've done ayahuasca ceremonies, I've done peyote ceremonies, I've done all the spiritual things, I've read all the books. And the thing that I'm going to share with you tonight is the emotional evolution process. And this is essentially a combination of all of the things that I've done and read and seen and done. And it's the process that I guess I've fine-tuned over the years, but it's the process that I use in myself to help me rise above and identify those limiting beliefs that have us feeling small and not enough, and essentially stuck in a low vibrational state. And when we are existing from a low vibrational state, our hormones go out of whack, because your truth is absolute beauty. Your truth is expanded, energized, vital self. That is your truth. That is who you are. You will put on this earth to experience all of the highs and the lows, but all of the pleasures of being human: touch, taste, smell, sensation. And this is the thing, I think we get so caught up in putting ourselves in all these standards that we should be meeting. I have to be this size, compare ourselves to everyone else, And we lose that fine balance between really enjoying all these guilty things in life and then also putting ourselves on all these standards. Or if we're, we're out of touch with, we're out of balance, maybe we find ourselves feeling sluggish or, carrying extra weight and then hating on ourselves. And that's not how life's meant to be either. So we have these extreme seesaws going on, and this is my message, because I love a wine as much as everyone else. I love my chocolate. And so being a balanced babe is really, my gift is to find the way that you can have it all and do it all and be it all and still feel amazing and still look your best and still be in love with life, but in particular in love with yourself. And that's been a huge journey. And you know what? I certainly can't say that I'm in love with myself every day of the week. God, no. It's a work in progress, but I've come a damn sight long way over the last 10 to 12 years for sure. So to set that tone, guys, emotional evolution. And, I titled tonight's session about why your hormonal imbalance is perfect. And I've kind of just summed it up already, because your hormones are communicating with you. They are not the problem. They are the chemical messenger. They are letting you know that something bigger is at play in your body, and that is why you feel terrible. It is because you're nutritionally depleted. We went over this yesterday, the 7 steps. You're toxic, your liver's not working, your gut health is out of whack, your microbiome's not happening, you've got an overgrowth of bad bacteria, you've got leaky gut going, there's inflammation, all the things I went over last night. But then in the first video, please watch the replay as well, your hormones are just the communicators. So essentially your hormones are the ones saving your life, because if they weren't alerting you to all the crap that's going on behind the scenes, that's stopping your vital organs from functioning properly, well, you'd be dead. So I actually want us to just go, yeah, I love my hormones. Thank you for having my back. Thank you for saving my life. Because every time they have their little hissy fit and they throw themselves off the chart or out of whack, and we get this imbalance that makes us feel emotionally crazy, or it makes us feel flat and tired, or we get an outbreak, or we get a painful period. If we're connected in, we're tuned in, we go, all right, body, what are you trying to tell me? What do you need? And then we set about making the changes, doing what it is we need, fulfilling our needs. So emotional evolution. This is my point of difference, I guess you could say. There's no other naturopath teaching this stuff. It's a very, very different philosophy to hormone balancing. Obviously you can Google how to balance hormones and you'll see all the food and all the natural supplements you can take. And for a lot of you will have gone and tried that, and it didn't do anything, or it worked for a while, but no, you stopped taking the supplements, you're back to square one. Or maybe you did all the physical healing, maybe you even went on the pill and you do that stuff, but you still feel like crap. And this is because there is a disconnect in your physical, your spiritual health as well. You can't be truly healthy if you're only looking at 2 parts. And there really is, for holistic health, that it has to encompass the physical, the spiritual, and emotional. And so this is what we're really focusing on tonight, the emotional element to balancing hormones. And the emotional evolution process is the process in which we help you to identify limiting beliefs, trapped, stored emotions that are stuck, dense down in our pelvic cavity, creating inflammation and pain and discomfort in that uterus, which then leads to painful periods, cysts, fibroids, endometriosis, or maybe just feeling crap in your body and stuff like that. So the reason this discomfort, and I like to call them triggers, are the most important thing that you can possibly ever have in your life, is because they are the course correction. They are your internal compass, our emotions and our feelings. And we're living in a world now where we're becoming very numbed, and this is I guess the thing that worries me the most about the oral contraceptive pill. It numbs our emotions and our feelings. It disconnects us from the hormones, then it disconnects us from the neurotransmitters. So we become this sort of kind of way of being, same as our antidepressant medication, that sort of thing. It disconnects us. We need to be able to have the emotional resilience to be able to experience the highs and lows and absolutely everything in between, that beautiful broad spectrum of emotions that us humans have the beautiful gift of experiencing: the fears, the sadness, the grief, the shame, the judgment, the blame, right through to all the way the other spectrum. The things that really help us vibrate high, the joy, the love, the gratitude, the excitement, the arousal, all these beautiful emotional states that we'd all love to be in 24/7, but our world is a polarity. Just as the tide goes in and out, just as the sun and the moon rotate around, our emotions also have to be able to move, because that's what makes us human. But if we have a process of understanding how to work our way through the hard or uncomfortable emotions, rather than just avoiding them and disconnecting from them, stuffing them down with wine or chocolate or all that other risky behavior or online shopping addictions, whatever it is we do to get that dopamine kick and get us out of that shame or that blame. Then it's like we push it down to the side, we suppress it again, and we go on with life a little bit more. And then 3 weeks rolls on again, we get into that premenstrual window again, or something triggers you in the world, and we have that same emotion rear its head up because it wants to come up, because if it's stuck in you and it's not felt, this is where it settles down in our body, and this is where it has the ability to create disease. So we want you to learn how to feel your emotion and feel them in a healthy environment that allows you then to transmute through your body and be released. And we can feel and process emotion within 30 seconds, a few minutes. It doesn't mean we need to be stuck in these horrible lows for days on end, but we have to be willing and open to embrace them, because every single time we feel anything, we are learning information about not only our physical body, but we're learning information about the world around us and the world that you want to create and the world that you want to live in, the way you want your life to go. And to summarize that a little bit more is that through the law of attraction, so I guess this is a bit more woo-woo, but there is a lot of science being done on this stuff now, a lot of really professional doctors like Dr. Joe Dispenza talking about this sort of stuff. Now, we think of you like an antenna that is constantly emitting frequency, and that frequency is your emotion. And if we're emitting love and joy and happiness and excitement, our vibration is huge. And you know it yourself, you walk past someone and you just get a feeling that they're in a good mood, they feel good. Or you walk into a room and someone's in a bad mood and you can sense their energy before you even have a conversation with them. So energy is a real thing. It's no longer a thing where we're like, oh, that's all fake and that's all woo-woo. Energy and vibration is absolutely a thing. And your energy and vibration determines absolutely every single event that you encounter in your life. And of course, there's some exceptions to that. You know, we can talk about soul contracts, we can talk about life lessons and stuff like that. And I'm not going to go into that tonight, but of course there's exceptions. Not everything is, and definitely nothing's a conscious creation, but it's all resonating through the law of attraction. What we're putting out, we're calling back in. Okay? So this is what I want to teach you guys, to take charge of your vibration, to take charge of your emotions, to start having more control over the way that you perceive the world. Okay, because the way we perceive the world is directly determined by our beliefs. And I want to give you a classic example of this. Let's just say we have two women, they're standing on the street having a chat, and they're just, you know, minding their own business, having a chat, and some random person drives past them and starts hurling abuse out the window and yelling out, oh, you fat bitches, blah, blah, blah. And one of the women just starts giggling and sort of turns around and goes, oh, that was random, who was that, sort of thing, and just shakes it off, doesn't even give it a second thought. The other woman, who does feel self-conscious, who has limiting beliefs about her physical appearance, who's worried if maybe she doesn't look right, who's worried maybe she's carrying extra weight, that goes straight into her subconscious and triggers a wound and a limiting belief she has about herself, that all of a sudden you see her shoulders slip down, she feels self-conscious, she feels embarrassed, she feels humiliated at this person, and she automatically goes, oh my God, they're obviously talking to me, and her story spirals, and I'm going to tell about more in a minute. So you can see the exact same scenario based on these two women's very different beliefs. The first woman, very confident, has no body hang-ups at all, feels really good about her physical body. The second woman is carrying subconscious wounds. Two women having exactly the same experience, but perceive the situation completely differently. So our beliefs then determine our emotional state and how then. And so this woman then is probably going to walk away going, oh my God, I know I need to start a diet. Oh my God, I need to do this. And you'll see all the stories and all these things. She starts shaming herself, judging herself, and all this sort of stuff. And this is the stuff I want to teach you, to start identifying when you're off running in those stories and what to do when you identify a limiting belief. Because triggers, and in that scenario, even though that was a really unfortunate situation and a really unpleasant situation for woman number two to experience because it made her feel awful, it was actually one of the greatest gifts that could have happened. And this is why triggers are one of the best things that can happen. And the reason being is because it shines a light on her limiting belief that she, if under the right guidance or with the right knowing and right education on how to now process that and work through it and limit, she can then change her limiting belief to a more empowered belief, which completely changes her vibration, which changes what she's then vibrating out to the world, which then changes what she's calling back in through the law of attraction. This is powerful, powerful stuff, okay? And so we love our hormones for this because they're the ones that alert us. They for their shift, for their change, these chemical communicators, these neurotransmitters, they're the ones that allow us to feel. Okay, so think about everything that happens in your world, every unfortunate event, everything that triggers an emotional reaction. It's an opportunity for you to go, oh, what do I need to learn about that? Do I need to change my belief around that? Do I need to change my perception? Or do I need to set a boundary? Do I need to move away from that situation? Do I need to quit that job? Do I need to leave that relationship? There is always information coming to us based on the way we feel. So one of the most important things that I teach you guys through the 7-step hormone healing system is to be in tune with your emotion, is to teach you to stop and be present enough with yourself so that we can be picking up on these internal senses, these clues that are going. But we have to take responsibility for our limiting belief, because if we're operating from all this trauma and like childhood wounds, which we all have them, some are minor, some are huge, but they still have the same impact on our beliefs and the way we see the world. And so it's really, really important to know what to do with them when they come up, because if you're stuck in limiting beliefs, you're going to allow fear to hold you back. You're going to feel terrible about yourself. You're going to be stuck in low vibration, and disease starts. Then we don't trust ourselves to go out and make contact with that stranger or apply for that job, because we're stuck in all these limiting beliefs that we don't believe we're good enough. And it really, if you look, you know, these two women, woman A and woman B, again, one of them's going through life confident and going to her dreams and creating her reality. The other woman's hiding in the shadows the whole time because she doesn't feel she's enough because of that one limiting belief. Our limiting beliefs filter onto our physical body. So if she believes she's not good enough, she believes she's unattractive, she believes she's overweight, or whatever language she's stuck in, that's how her physical body is going to show up for her. You see, you know, we've all heard these things before, you know, pregnant women or women who are in love, and they've got this glow to them, this sparkle to them. That is the vibration that your vibration is the universal language. You can't fake it with words. You know, the more in tune you are with your own energy, the more you are able to see other people's energy as well, and you get really good at reading other people. So I could talk about this stuff for hours, and I could go into it in so much more detail. And if you want all the more detail, you're going to have to do the 7-step hormone healing system course. But for now, I'm going to teach you how to do this at home in as much detail as I possibly can in 10-15 minutes, because it is a big process. And this process, this emotional evolution process, it is something that you will do ongoing for the rest of your life. You learn how to infuse it in your day-to-day basis. So you're constantly checking in and mindful, oh, that triggered me, I felt uncomfortable. What do I need to know? And we're going through the process, which I'm going to show you now. So you'll be using this all day, every day. Triggers never stop. As a human being whose energy is always expanding, as you're always growing, okay? Whenever you set yourself a new goal, like, whether it be a physical goal or a business goal or whatever goal, every time you set a new thing that you want to call in or manifest into your life, whatever exists in your subconscious that is not a vibrational match or to that what you want to create, then those limiting beliefs, they must come to the surface so that you can then transmute them and change them into a more empowered belief. And this is how we create our dream life. This is why being a balanced babe is so much more than just balancing your hormones at a physical level and healing your period. This is actually about stepping into your power and stepping into the driver's seat of your life and creating whatever damn reality that you want. You know, you hear people go, oh my God, that person's just lucky. Everything's just fallen in her lap. She's just lucky. No, it's not. She is someone who's living life and knows what she wants, who believes in herself. And she may be, and it's the most modest ones that go about that way. But, if you see people who are just killing it at life, they're doing the inner work. They're in tune with their emotions. They understand these limiting beliefs. I don't believe in luck. I really don't. Obviously, certain people get different head starts in life and that sort of stuff. But luck is something that you create for yourself based on this connection with yourself, this connection with your hormones, this womb wisdom. So I'm going to get into it. I wrote notes because there's lots of it. So, this in particular, emotional evolution, is the 7th step. So if you've read my book, the 7-step hormone healing system, it's Balanced Babes, which has the 7-step healing system in the back of it. The online course that I've now created is the book, but it's evolved so much more. There is so much more depth to it. There is so much more there. It's like, it's just tenfold. So the course is exciting. Wrong side. So basically, there's 3 stages of emotional evolution, and I have talked about this on my social media before, but the first stage is awareness. The second stage is acceptance, and the third stage is alignment. Now, when we're going into that first, then there's 9 steps within that. And basically, the first step is that awareness of the trigger, that uncomfortable sensation that comes over your body. And just think for a minute yourself, if you tune in, like, what's something that happens that makes you feel uncomfortable? And it could be, you know, people's comments in the workplace. It could be children being painful and, you know, not cleaning up after themselves, and that triggers you, okay? And so think of some things that annoy you in your life or irritate you, because it's giving you an opportunity to start to change your story around it, okay? So first of all, we want to be basically acknowledge and become aware of the trigger and go, okay, all right, I feel that. Because otherwise we're mindlessly just we're going with life and we're just shitting, we're cranking, and then we're projecting and reacting to life because we're in our trigger, we're shitty, we're pissed off, or we're annoyed, or we're sad, whatever emotion of that low vibrational, you know, negative emotion, so to speak. But we don't do anything about it. And so we're just in that yucky vibration and projecting all that yucky energy on everyone around us, and they feel it. Even if you haven't spoken up about what's pissed you off, they feel it. And so the first thing is acknowledge, yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed right now. That annoyed me what they did, okay? Identify, number 2, identify the ego story that you have gone into in surrounding that trigger, okay? So let's just say you rock up to work and someone in the office makes a passive comment which really upsets you. And they're just joking maybe, but whatever. And it just makes you go, oh, well, what have you made it mean? What is your perception of this person's words or whatever's taken place that's triggered you? What ego story have you gone into? Because the ego wants you to stay stuck in your limiting beliefs because it's familiar in those. It doesn't want you to grow and expand and try new things and cross edges and live life to its fullest, because that's scary. That's the unknown. So your ego wants you to stay stuck in your story. Okay, once we've identified the story, what you've made it mean, like for example, let's use for example, a classic one, okay, you get pissed off at your husband all the time because he never puts the toilet seat down. You're constantly telling him to put the toilet down, but he never does it. So you go into your story like, oh my God, he just doesn't listen. He obviously doesn't care about me. He doesn't respect me. That's your ego story. You run off into all these meanings that you give it. Whereas poor old hubby's just doing his thing, one track mind, single focused, thinking about doing something else, having him give the toilet seat a thought. There's no malice behind it. He doesn't mean to. But we go and go, oh, he's so thoughtless, he's so clever. That's our ego stories. We've made that based on our perception, our reality. And if we can own them as our own things and the way we think, we get to change it. And then how good would it be if the thing that's triggered you every day for the last 10 years, they still do it, but all of a sudden you don't care anymore because you've cleaned up your limiting beliefs around it and you've moved into a better, more evolved version of yourself. So once you've identified the ego story, the next thing you want to do is you want to connect with the emotion that's attached with those stories. And it's like, well, if the story is, well, he doesn't care about me, he obviously doesn't love me that much, like he can spiral pretty deep all over a toilet seat, right? And then so, well, I feel like he doesn't respect me, which makes me feel unworthy. And I want you to sit with that and just acknowledge that emotion for a second and go, oh wow, that's heavy, okay? It's so, so important to really, because we must feel the emotion in order to heal. We must feel the emotion in order to transmute it, in order to let it go. If we're not willing to sit in it and feel it, it gets stuffed down, suppressed down, sits in that pelvic cavity, inside our uterus, and fucks everything up in there, causing inflammation and pain and period pain, all those things. Okay, so sit with the emotion for a few moments and just acknowledge it, because it's your little child, your inner child, your wounded child that starts to feel it the most. And you want to just sit with her for a minute and go, oh, it's okay. I love you. I forgive you. Like, it just, you are enough. You need to reassure yourself in that moment. You need to nurture yourself a little bit in that moment. Okay? Step number 4 is you then need to target the actual specific limiting belief that's associated with that. So it's a little bit deeper than the ego story. The ego story is, oh, he doesn't this, he doesn't do that, blah, 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 all the stuff that we start then going. The limiting belief is that more, I'm not lovable, so to speak. He doesn't respect me enough to actually pay attention to things I'm constantly asking for him to do, and we go into, I'm not worthy of love. I'm not worthy of him listening to me. I'm not worthy. And that's the limiting belief that we now need to work on. And that is when you can narrow it down and screw it down and come down to what this actually means underneath it all, underneath all your reactive anger, screaming, when you break it down to that, I'm not enough, that's like hitting the jackpot, because now we know what we're working with. Now we know what we're dealing with. So rather than just going on about the day and huffing and puffing and screaming and shouting and being shitty for the rest of the day because hubby didn't put the toilet seat down, now we're going, oh wow, this is about me. This is about me not feeling enough. And now we've taken back our power. Now we have chosen to take responsibility, and now we're in a position where we can change our thoughts and we can change our reality. And you would be surprised when you shift stuff in you, things naturally shift in people around you as well, because your energy changes. Remember, your energy is constantly communicating and interchanging with everyone else's energy as well. So this moves us into the second stage, which is about acceptance. And we want to spend a moment sort of going, all right, rather than being angry at hubby for not putting the toilets down, going, thanks hubby for doing that, because you've given me an opportunity to evolve here. You've given me an opportunity to get really clear on how I feel about myself and the shitty stories I've been stuck in about myself. And I'm going to let the toilet seat go for now. Or you can choose to stay righteous and be angry, but he didn't put the toilet seat down. But where's that getting you? You're still stuck in that same scenario all day in, day out. You're pissed off with hubby. Nothing changes. Because unless you start to make it about you and come back to you and go, all right, I'm gonna shift this in me. This is how we empower ourselves and we change our world. We cannot rely on anyone else to change their personality, to change their views, to change their beliefs, to change the way they respond or act, or change the way they treat you. But we can change our beliefs about ourselves, and that is the most empowered state that you want to be in. Okay, so look at this, accept it for what it is, and acknowledge that maybe there was a reason this person's done this thing to me, because it's helped me find this. It's being acceptance of the drama that's outplayed. If you're still blame, you haven't got there. You're still in fight mode. You're still in reactive mode. You're not going to heal. Okay. After we've done that, this is where we need to now form a new empowered belief. Okay, so let's say the original belief was I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy. Your new empowered belief is I am lovable, or something like I'm lovable straight up can feel a bit, it's a bit hard. Choose something empowering, but maybe not as into so I am worthy. Well, I am worthy of being respected. Okay, that might feel really empowered, and we want to focus on that. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to really embody the vibration of what comes with you feeling worthy. So what I mean by that is, if you're worthy, or if you're worthy of being respected, how does that feel? It's like, well, it feels good. I feel confident now. I feel like I have more confidence to be assertive and speak up about what I want. I feel empowered. I feel now energized. You want to now start linking all these beautiful emotions with it. And the next step is basically you're writing a story. You want to get out a pen and paper, or in the note section of your phone, you want to write a little, what I like to call my manifestation manifesto. And you get your pen out and you write and you say, I feel so empowered right now, and I know that I'm worthy of being respected. I like to, and you just let your inner child run wild. Fantasize, dream state, all of it, just write this beautiful, happy scenario of how it possibly could look. And this is an NLP technique. And you write it out there. And as you're writing and reading, you're like, yeah, this is fun. And it creates a shift in your vibration just by writing and fantasizing about it, okay? And so this is, you're creating a new reality, your new empowered belief now. And now the next thing what you want to do is you need to now form neural pathways. And this is what takes, some people say 28 days, some people say 60 days. To form these new neural connections, and we have to fire them daily for these couple of months in order for them to stick around. Because if you have that fleeting moment of joy and happiness, but then you forget about you back to old ways the next morning when hubby leaves the toilet, and you go straight back into, I'm angry, which you will naturally default back into that trigger, because it's a hardwired neural pathway that is just you automatically doing without even knowing. What we're asking you to do now is jump off the beaten track, get off that well-signed, well-worn track, and start taking a new route, a new belief, which feels foreign, it feels uncomfortable, it's new, you've never done it before, you don't know where you're going. And this is where the ego's going to go, no, take the old road, just be angry and cranky, it's easy, just be cranky and storm off and leave the house for the day, and that's what you've always done. But that's going to gradually create a wedge between you and your partner. It's going to keep you digging that deeper story into, I'm not worthy of being respected, I'm not enough. And then your vibration shifts. And then you get physical manifestations of hormonal balance, and then you're miserable and you're cranky. You can see how it's such a more empowered thing, even though it's scary and overwhelming to start choosing to believe I am worthy of being respected. Because then the ego's going, I really don't know, you're not, blah, blah, blah. And so you have to basically battle with the ego for the next 21 to 28 to 60 days. You have to keep consciously choosing, this is my new power belief. And this is where the next couple of steps are so important. You have to then go through a stage of getting into that vibration every single day. And we do this as step 8. So we daily ritual, and I teach this in the 7-step hormone healing system, where we create a ritual that we do at home. Even if it takes you 2 minutes or 5 minutes, if you've got 30 minutes or an hour. And there's so many different things we do. And cacao ritual is a beautiful one. Putting on your favorite music, smelling certain essential oil smells, eating certain food, putting beautiful songs on, whatever things they are, that then you start now forming these neural associations with these things. And you sit in that space, almost like a meditative space, but you've got all those other things going on. You're reading your manifestation manifesto, and you're reading, you're feeling good. And as you're feeling, you're firing that neural pathway. As you keep firing those neural pathways, you're laying that new foundation. If you do that for that 28 to 30 days, eventually this old neural pathway, that old belief that we were addicted to, it's like an old now walking track that becomes overgrown. It's not used anymore, but this new path becomes that well-known walking track, and also we're automatically defaulting to this new empowered belief that says, I'm worthy, I'm respected. And that's your vibration you're sending out now. And these are the situations and scenarios you're now calling back into your life. Changing your limiting beliefs is essentially changing your personality. And it absolutely can be done. It's just conscious choice and doing this consciously every single day. And the final step is really about weaving it into your world, finding then ways and things that you're doing throughout the day that you can then associate with this neural belief. Songs, conversations, positive affirmations, I call them power mantras, things you're saying and doing that just keep reminding you, get back on that track, get back on the new one. I am worthy of being respected, I'm worthy of respected. And I guarantee you shit's going to go wrong where the egos will go, see, you're not. See, that person just cut you off on the car and that's totally disrespected you. You're not worthy. And you go, all right, I see you, ego, I feel you. I know you want to keep us on that track, but no, we're going with this track. I'm worthy of being respected. And you've got to do the work for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. We infuse in your day-to-day life, and this is what I teach you in the 7-step hormone healing system. And we teach you beautiful, beautiful sacred rituals like yoni singing, cacao ceremony, there's breath work, meditation, embodiment dancing. And I teach you these things because these are the things that help you be more in tune with your body, help you be more in tune with your hormones, your intuition. It helps us get back into our feminine. And our feminine is the most powerful, creative, beautiful, incredible space to be in, because when we're connected to all these things, we're so much more connected to our sexual energy, and we're powerful. Sexual energy is not something to fear. It is powerful if used in the right way. We can use it to feel confident, to live in our truth. And it really is such a beautiful thing to be in your feminine, to feel confident, to feel love. And the most important thing, to be vulnerable, to be willing to be vulnerable, and then communicate from a heart-centered space. Hey, hubby, I really need you to put the toilet seat up for me because it makes me feel really worthy. You communicate like that to hubby. Men are programmed to want to meet your needs. It's back in their subconscious. They don't even know they're doing it, but they're like, yep, great, what do you need? How can I do it? And we all see this. Women are more emotionally want to talk about it. Men just want to solve problems. So when you can communicate with him, I really need you to put that toilet seat up. It makes me feel so empowered. And when I feel empowered, I'm happy and I'm excited and I'm in my sexual energy, I'm great. I guarantee you, he's going to stop leaving that toilet seat down. Not because you whinged and nagged and cracked the shits. And this is what we do as women, unfortunately, because we're so intuitive. We assume he knows. We assume he's just leaving the toilet seat down because he wants to piss us off, when there's no thought process there at all. And we don't communicate what we need. And this is where we have our unmet emotional needs, which then rear their ugly head out when the triggers, which rear their ugly head up in our premenstrual window, and they come up to the surface though, so you can go through the emotional evolution process and change them and be empowered by them and change your entire world and your entire reality. And this stuff you use in your relationship with your children, you use in your relationship with your partners, you use with your friends, you use in your workplace, you use in your health, all areas of your life. It's about taking control of your thoughts and your vibration and creating your reality as a result. It's a lot to take in, I know, like there's 9 steps there, right? But they're actually very simple things. It's just a matter of doing them and showing up consistently. So if this stuff excites you in any way, I do invite you to jump on and do the 7-step Hormone Healing System course with me. We're doing it as a live, challenge, 7-week challenge, starting as of the 1st of November, where I'm going to be going through as well. I'm going to be doing all the exercises. I'm going to be doing live videos. I'm going to be doing demonstrations of everything that you learn in it. But we're going to be doing this and working through our limiting beliefs as a team. And we do these live calls weekly. And we go in deeper though. I ask you to come to the calls with triggers in mind. And we do tapping, and we do NLP, and we do guided meditation. We help you work through them. So it's such a beautiful, safe space to be able to work through all of your limiting beliefs, all of your wounds, all of your traumas, so that you can evolve and set yourself free and live life on your terms. And that is what I want for every single one of us. And just imagine if every single human was vibrating from a space of love, can you imagine how incredible the planet would be? There'd be no hate, there'd be no drama, there'd be none of greed. It would just be a beautiful, amazing space, and that is what my dream is for the world, and that is my why for Balanced Babes. I believe we can create a better planet by raising the consciousness, by getting humans into that heart frequency. Thank you for everyone who's joined me. Biggest love to you. I'm going to leave you there now, because I know I've dropped a lot on there. Please, please, please drop some comments for me, ask questions. I'm going to jump on and I'm going to answer them all. And please, if you anyone you know who would resonate with this, please add them to my Facebook group, because that's where all your replays are going to be for the 3 videos. Big love to you all. I can't wait to start this journey with you all, and I hope you have an incredible evening wherever you are, and I'll speak with you soon.